Hello and welcome to an episode that deals with campaign planning in public relations. I'm Swati Singh, a guest lecturer at Delhi University and other colleges. I have been in media for over a decade and have been teaching for over half a dozen years. To carry out any public relations program, we need to have a clear-cut strategy and well-planned procedure. It is this sustained and well-orchestrated procedure that is known as public relations campaign and can run simultaneously for a long period of time in various media. Defining a campaign. A campaign is a series of planned activities carried out in various media simultaneously at the same time to ensure publicity and promotion of a particular strategy deployed by the management or the public relations department of an organization.
When we talk about campaign planning, it essentially means how we basically do a marketing plan for a particular brand or an organization. In fact, every corporate or a public sector has a marketing or a planning team which has its own events of calendar that it plans throughout the year. I'm going to just give you some examples of certain marketing plans that have been successful and were executed really, really well.
Why do we plan a public relations campaign? To set specific and objective targets for public relations activities. If no clear agenda is chalked out for public relations programs, the activities would end up looking futile and not as fruitful as you would have wanted it to be. To estimate the cost involved in public relations functions. Public relations is a costly function. One should not forget that every public relations activity comes at a cost. Therefore, a budget has to be discussed, created and used for carrying out the annual public relations work. Each activity to be covered by public relations in an year should be compartmentalized and prioritized. In order to ensure smooth and proper functioning, the public relations officer has to ensure that the operations should be carried out in a systematic manner. To decide upon the feasibility of declared objectives and also to decide upon the strategy to be deployed in order to achieve spelled out objectives. Many a times, the set procedure or the targets by the public relation officer or organization are non-realistic or the bar is set too high. So, it needs to be counter-checked in order to ensure the usefulness of the plan. Requirements for the public relation officer. Sufficient manpower. The staff carrying out various operations should be correct quantitatively and qualitatively. This simply means that the manpower should be well qualified and sufficiently skilled to carry out the program. Physical equipment for any activity should be perfect. These could be cameras, lights, laptops, and so on. An adequate budget is of primary importance. The budget sanctioned for the program should be sufficient to run the show. Now let's take a look at the strategy developed for public relations campaign. A 6-point planning model is devised for the given purpose. The model has 6 simple steps: appreciation of situation, definition of objectives, definition of public, selection of media and technology, planning of a budget, evaluation of feedback. To do our job well, we need to understand a few things. Start with appreciation of situation. Certain basic questions often pop up like, where are we as a brand, organization, person? Why are we here? Where do we want to be? Our future vision and mission. How to reach there? What is our game plan or strategy? Any public relations officer would like to gauge the image, reputation and market standing of its organization. The public relations officer has to analyze the dilemmas, strengths and weaknesses an organization's image, like, is the organization liked or disliked? Is it accepted or are people prejudiced about it? Is the world aware about its working? Are the products and services of the organization ignored? The aforesaid questions need to be thought over and dealt with. Also, a public relations officer assesses the reasons for the organization to be the victim of scenario it lives in. SWOT analysis. One of the oldest management techniques, namely SWOT analysis, is utilized by public relations staff to explore the brand image and brand utility. It does this by examining the following criteria: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. SWOT analysis states that any organization has to face problems on different aspects of their personality at any given point of time. These four aforesaid parameters serve as a yardstick to evaluate the weight and age of any company. It explores areas where companies can venture into where it has never been before. It checks the dangerous waters that need to be avoided, like threat from competitors, new developments, not implied, problems with low profits, and not to forget, also appreciates the present working and effort being put in by the management and the employees of the organization. Process of campaign planning. Once there is clarity that the public relations officer proceeds to check the actual position or condition the organization wants to reach, also various measures to be taken to reach the desired destination, goal or target.
There is a campaign called LG Stars of India, which happens almost like every year whenever the ICC matches happen, wherein essentially 20 children from India are sent with the Indian cricket team wherever they're playing abroad, India, wherever, and these children accompany these cricketers till on the cricket field till they sing the national anthem, and there are children who hold the national flag and stuff. So how this campaign really started, it dates back to some the campaign side of it, the LG Stars of India, where the children used to go on the field, started some years back, but when extensively it started on the campaign, at the level of campaign, it started in year 2009. What had happened was that LG was facing these problems during the monsoon time in terms of their sales. So they wanted to induce their sales. So they wanted to come up with a marketing program or a marketing planning, a campaign which can induce their sales, also lead to their brand enhancement, and lead people think positively about brand LG. Not that there was anything negative about it, but it's just that in this competitive arena, every brand wants to be ahead of the competitor. So how we really started was, there was an entire campaign which was devised, which started up with your pre-hype program, which is basically doing, it was conducting some 220 cities, wherein it started with the band-ring. Pre-hype was like band-ring, post-ring, and etc. Basically creating a hype that yes, something is coming to your city, which led to another 3 days of your road shows, wherein you had these MCs, and there was this entire van which was made with LG products. So basically, you come, you talk, the MC talks about it. There were goodies that were given, and eventually this entire program led to an exhibition which is conducted on a weekend. Now, what really happens in that exhibition is, and during that time there were advertisements also which were placed, there were hoardings also which were placed, was that if your child is between the age of 5 up till 12, you can get them to any of these exhibition, LG Stars of India exhibition areas, wherein they have to come showcase their talent. Now, talent could be anything. It could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be mimicry, it could be painting, it could be anything. So basically, now how it really helped LG was, now every parent wanted that their child should win this LG Stars of India contest kind of a thing, because that gives not only their child to go and dine and to join the cricket stars of India on the ground and sing national anthem, and it's like a huge pride, but also every child was being was being escorted by their parents. So basically, there was a catch that you and your child, you both go. If your child is selected, you also go along. So all that he needed was a valid passport, and that the child needs to be selected amongst the top 20, top 25 or 20 children who will be a part of this LG Stars of India campaign. Now, a child who sees this advertisement through various activities, your postering, your leaflets in the society, your hoardings, your radio, etc., would say, okay, mom, I need to go there and I want to go and dance there and I want to have my own chance, because I don't know if I'll be selected or not, but I'll definitely win something. And that's how you get your parents to the exhibition. Now, when the parents come to the exhibition, and with the huge discounts and the kind of offers that you get, nobody can resist it. So at the end of the day, you end up buying something or the other, even if it's as minuscule as buying a telephone worth 1100 or 1400. There was no compulsion that you need to buy something from LG to make your child be a part of this program. It was open for all. You could be from anywhere, anybody, all you need to have is talent. So that's how they induce their sales during monsoon. And it's really amazing, the kind of response that LG got was humongous. Even on rainy days, the exhibition halls were like full, they were flooded.
Methods to appreciate a situation. Opinion and attitude surveys are carried out wherein employees are asked about their understanding, like and dislike, problems faced, and so on, to gather press coverage by collecting press cuttings and tracking media coverage. Also, keep a tab on the material posted by the media about the organization by a regular monitoring of the news and views on various media about the organization or a particular company. Checking or keeping a tab on the balance sheets, sales figures, and financial health of the company. Sales report could propose serious indications about the company's financial health. Checking the state of competition and keeping vigilance on the success and techniques of competitors. Industrial relations, wages, strikes, and settlements have to be regulated for the given organization. Customer relations or complaints, test reports to be diagnosed for image management. Discussion with dealers, distributors, wholesalers, etc. from time to time about their views, opinions, and feedback on the organization's policies and procedures. Market forces, economic, social, and political, to be tapped. Attitude of opinion leaders with respect to the company needs to be checked from time to time. Objectives. There could be a formidable list of objectives for any given public relations campaign. The various objectives which need to be set could be of various sorts. To change the overall brand image, this could be due to adoption of a newer set of techniques, services, or product by the company. To improve the working capacity and upgrade current manpower skills. To tell the world about the conception, growth, and success of the company. Also, to discuss the laurels and achievements of the company. These activities would further result in gaining a positive image. To make the company a household name, to ensure that the company is appreciated and understood by the public. To prepare the market for new schemes to be launched by the organization. To improve community relations following any misunderstanding about the company's intentions toward the society. To educate the consumer about the product of the company. To regain public confidence after any mishap or disaster which has depicted the company as being irresponsible or inefficient. To establish a new corporate identity. To familiarize the chairperson of the company. To support a sponsorship scheme. To inform the government or politicians about the working of the company or its activities due to impending legislation which could be unfavorable. It could affect the company's image. To advocate the company's research activities. Understand what public means. Considering the objectives of the public relations campaign, public need to be defined so that the public relations officer could reach out to the right audience with the correct strategy. There is more or less two sets of audiences, namely internal public, which is the employee or the workers working inside the organization, and the external public, which are the shareholders, investors, customers, government, and financial bodies attached with the organization that have to be kept in the loop for the campaign to be successful. At the same time, the right set of combination of the two ensures the success of a campaign. Sending the right message to the wrong audience is useless. Selection of media. One important consideration will be choosing the right media to reach the right target audience. Public relations generally uses widespread media as compared to advertising. In fact, public relations uses more than 3 to 4 media at a particular time to give out the desired message and run the campaign. Now, let us discuss the various media channels deployed by the public relations for dissemination of information to the target audience. Print media. The various type of print media utilized by public relations at national, regional, and local level are newspapers, trade journals, professional magazines, directories, yearbooks, and manuals. Audiovisual aids. These comprise of slides, videotapes, and CDs. Radio. Public relation uses national, international, local, and regional frequencies to spread their message. Television. Due to its wide coverage through satellite television, is a hot favorite of public relations executives, and therefore both its national and international services are widely utilized. Exhibitions. It is widely utilized by public relations, local, national, and international exhibitions to display the public relations campaign. Direct mails. Sending the audiences personalized mails has a profound impact and therefore is always used by public relations professionals. Internet. With the advent of networking sites, blogs, public relations can reach out directly, quickly, and effectively to their target audience. Budget. The budget needs to be organized properly to undertake the campaign. There should be a proper breakup of the budget that would detail out the heads under which expenditure would happen. Cost of salaries. Billing on the expenditure of the salary of the staff is one of the major elements of the campaign budget. Cost of publicity material is a significant element to be kept in control. Cost of making films, videos for the promotion of the campaign also create a dent in the campaign's budget, but sometimes it is essential for carrying out the campaign. Distribution and maintenance costs. Cost of publicity material includes the booking of spots where the OOH out of house publicity would be put up. The upkeep of the hoardings, banners, and posters has to be done till the time the campaign is going on. The maintenance cost would be a constant and common feature in expenditure. Photo coverage cost. Photos of various events or promotions done for the campaign comes at high price. The payment for the photographer and the photo prints and the cost of getting the same published would be paid by the organization. Telephone cost. Telephone bills will come in as calls will have to be made. This is unavoidable and is seen as an ongoing expense. Accommodation cost. Accommodation for artists, promoter, staff, and the management at venues where promotional activities are arranged for the campaign are also a common feature. Media briefings. Press conferences are also arranged from time to time. The idea is to communicate the developments on the brand or product and publicity. They also add to the cost. Transportation costs. This expenditure is common for the campaign, especially on national or international level. Lots of taxis and even at times trucks or tempos are hired to transport various goods. Recreational facilities. Usually, some kind of recreational activity is taken up for those who cover the function or those who are employees. They are given a sightseeing trip somewhere, or there could be a small campfire party organized or a DJ dance party called in before dinner. The idea is to break the monotony of work and give the workers some mental rest from their continuous efforts. Expenditure on advertising and promotional events. Advertising is expensive. A full page advertisement on the first page of newspaper, teasers on television, constant updates on radio, and posters and banners come at a huge cost to companies. Mailing and postage cost. This particular cost deals with the material that has to be sent by post. It could also be looked upon as parcels sent by planes, trains, or postal companies. Assessment of results. Once the campaign is physically over, it becomes the responsibility of the public relations department and practically all the people involved part of the campaign to evaluate the scores achieved by the campaign. Benchmarks. Increase in sale figures required. More visibility required. Rebranding. More recognition needed. More brand equity required, and so on. Hence, a generic and specific assessment has to be carried out to find out whether any of the aforesaid objectives or any other objectives were ever achieved by this campaign. Assess the result of a public relations program in relation to the laid down objectives. Find out how much is achieved as per the plan, what unforeseen events emerged and how they were taken care of. What were the lessons learned in the entire exercise? The positive ones would be retained and the damaging ones would be studied and not repeated. Evaluation. The measurement of success or failure of a public relations program is gauged by various methods. These are authenticated and scientific. The techniques chosen to ensure the success or failure of a campaign are logical and calculated by precise feedback techniques. Let us look at some techniques that have been scientifically proven to check the effectiveness of a campaign. Survey technique. In this method, a random survey is conducted by the public relations officer or the PR agency hired for the campaign. Here, the sampling is done precisely, which states that people who are selected to give answers might be random, but their demographies are precise match to the requirement of the research. This is a convenient and useful method. Interview technique. This technique is more challenging, tiring, time-consuming and extensive, since interviews here are about face-to-face questioning, where each sample of the selected participants based on their strata, group or cluster are questioned one-on-one. Though the technique is difficult and tiring, the results are highly authentic and useful. Questionnaire technique. For this technique, certain questionnaires are devised, which are sent directly to the sample participants, either by mail or given directly. This method is less stressful and gives lots of choices to the target group to select from. At times, people don't give honest answers, which are a put off for this type of technique, but at the same time, it saves cost and is less time consuming. It is also highly convenient for both the public relations and the correspondents or respondents. In fact, it is one of the most preferred technique and is used all over the world. Observation method. A little difficult to gauge and time taking, but it is useful technique that uses the observation method. Here, the agency of the public relation officers take considerable number of months to check with precise data as to how much of difference has been made on selected parameters. Again, there is participative observation. Here, the observer is part of the sample group. The observer sits at the distance and checks quietly. Though it is a wonderful research method and a lot of precision and experience is required to handle this method, it is therefore less preferred, especially in India, where research methods are still primitive and less used. All of the above methods, though useful, are highly time consuming, expensive, and require a lot of manpower. Therefore, not all companies take them up, but once applied rightly, public relations gets a precise understanding and a clear direction of how the campaign worked and if there were room for improvement. A lot of public relation agencies take up research as part of their regime and include it in their campaign planning costs. Now it's time for a quick recap. There are basically 5 parameters on which a public relation campaign works: fact finding, planning, communication, evaluation, and research. Campaign planning is an expensive activity but highly effective in carrying out broader objectives of giving a foothold to the organization on various image management regimes. Hence, this technique is widely acknowledged and practiced. The requirement is to understand and appreciate the usage and working of this technique which we witnessed.